Vagus nerve is involved in almost every disease, especially heart disease, arrhythmia, mental fog, dizziness, vertigo, chronic digestive problems, and leaky gut, gastroparesis, and speech problems, swallowing difficulties. All these disorders, if you try to find out the neurology of it, that goes to the vagus nerve. And then if you try to find out the reason for the vagus nerve getting injured, that's going to lead you to the neck. So most vagus nerve problems that have a structural cause, it is the neck. What the word vagus means is wandering. The longest nerve and the most important nerves in the body are the vagus nerves. There's one vagus nerve on the right side of the neck and the other on the left side of the neck. The vagus nerve innervates all the organs in the abdomen: the heart, lungs, liver, pancreas, spleen, stomach, kidneys. The vagus nerve has projections into the brain. Hence the vagus nerve basically connected to most of the functioning of everything in the human body. So, if a person's vagus nerves are not functioning correctly, it could affect the brainstem, and also all the organs of the body. And those things can start to degenerate and get disease. So, the neurology of most of the diseases. If you follow the neurology of any chronic disease, you can see that the cause of that chronic disease is connected to the vagus nerve. Or at least the propagation of the disease is connected with the vagus nerve. So, if people can get their vagus nerves functioning get better, then their disease can either be cured completely or they can be cured to a good extent. If somebody has high vagal tone, the overall physiology of such a person is regenerative. What we mean by high vagal tone means is that both vagus nerves are functioning optimally. Anabolic means when the vagus nerves are strong, one will have a great capacity to regenerate or heal or grow tissues. In such persons, testosterone levels are high and their cortisol levels, which is one of the stress hormones, comes to low. Hence, they get a good sleep and the person is very calm and peaceful. The vagus nerve is basically the nerve that makes the body and mind to a calm and peaceful state. The vagus nerve, when stimulated, it lowers the heart rate. So, when people have healthy vagus nerves, typically their pulse and breath rate is low. When the vagal tone is high, the heart rate variability is going to be very high. If a person is too sensitive or hypersensitive, he is most likely to have a degeneration of one or both vagal nerves. If a person has anxiety and don't know the reason or cannot figure out the reason, probably he might have vagus nerve degeneration. When a person's vagal tone is high, it may become a major stressor. When you have vibrant health and you have really good energy and your brain function is amazing and you can handle 10 things at once, you have really high vagal tone. So, the vagal tone correlates with how much you can accomplish in life, how healthy you are. When the vagal tone is very low, it's very easy to get disease. It's also very easy to get stressed. So if one is chronically sick, it is most likely that he has a vagal nerve problem and a structural neck problem. If your child is chronically sick, there is a chance that there is a vagus nerve problem and a structural neck problem. When a person looks down to a mobile phone, see how the vertebrae separate. When you're looking up, you have a nice cervical curve. We aren't supposed to be looking down at tablets or looking down at the computer or mobile phones for hours and hours. When you do that, you stretch out the ligaments. Once you stretch out the ligaments, then the vertebrae go into that wrong position that they're not supposed to, that can then cause a compression, a tearing, a torsion, an impingement of vital structures at the spinal cord, at cranial nerves, and especially at the vagus nerve. So, the structural cause of vagus nerve degeneration is cervical instability. Today, the etiology of almost all chronic diseases ends at the vagus nerve's degeneration. It can be heart disease, nausea, endocrine disease, poor digestion, colitis, infertility, dementia, Parkinson's disease, and even cancer. Vagus nerve is the crossroads of the brain-body interaction. In other words, when a person undergoes stress, toxins that come from foods one eats, chemicals you ingest, what the body do is the shutting off the vagus nerve. When the vagus nerve doesn't function, then the body starts to degenerate, then the body and mind get diseased. If you have a leaky gut, what's the real cause of that? Doctors tell you that you have food sensitivities or you have food allergies. Of course, we cannot deny the existence of food allergies. But the primary sensor in the digestive tract is the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve interacts with a lot of things in the digestive tract, and if the vagus nerve is degenerated, then the tight junction of the digestive tract open, and the body gets flooded with things which cause systemic inflammation. It is also the vagus nerve that controls inflammation in the body. So, that would be another reason that the vagus nerve shuts off. So, if you have palpitation, body pain, sensitivity to touch, if you have any kind of neuropathy, most likely you may have some kind of vagus nerve damage. Vagus nerve causes anti-inflammatory substances to be released in the body, and that it does through the digestive tract and through the spleen. If you breathe something that was dangerous, or you eat some wrong food, the body tries to throw it out through sneezing, or through coughing, or through loose motion. This is done by informing the brain what's going on in your lungs and your digestive tract by the vagus nerve. So, when the vagus nerve is not working correctly, substances get into your system that shouldn't, and then the body mounts an inflammatory reaction. And if your vagus nerves aren't working correctly, then the vagus nerve can't shut off the inflammation. When a person has vagus nerve degeneration, or a digestive problem, or ulcerative colitis, or leaky gut, and even though he is following a healthy diet, maybe a vegetarian diet, or a gluten-free diet, dairy-free diet, it will not solve the issue if he has a vagus nerve degeneration. If you follow the neurology of almost all diseases, including mitral valve polyps, heart arrhythmia, chronic sinusitis, ulcers, kidney problems, chronic headaches, liver disease, neck pain, fullness in the ear, swallowing difficulties, migraine headaches, in most cases, you'll see the cause is from the vagus nerve. A change in the structure of the neck, from cervical instability, injures the vagus nerve, and when the vagus nerves become injured, you can get anxiety for no reason. You get burning sensation and body pain. You can't urinate. You become depressed, and you don't even know the reason. You feel difficulty in breathing. Then you need the vagus nerve to function better. For proper digestion, your body needs to make stomach acids, so imagine if you don't make stomach acid properly, the food reached in the stomach will stay there because there is not enough acids to break down the food. Not only that, for the food that's broken down in your stomach had to go into your duodenum. For that the pyloric valve has to open, which needs the proper function of the vagus nerve. If we don't consider this, nobody can figure out why you have gastroesophageal reflux. Again, the esophageal sphincter that determines whether that has to open and close is the vagus nerve. If one's voice is disturbed, among other reasons, one of the reasons can be lack of vagus nerve supply to the vocal cords that open and close them. This shows the importance of the vagus nerve in the human body. Hence, before searching for various reasons for the diseases of the body or of the mind, we have to see whether the vagus nerve is functioning properly or not. There are various yoga practices to stimulate and balance the function of the vagus nerve. Some of these practices we'll be explaining in the second part of this video. Thank you for watching.